Welcome to this second video clip for BAN2603, which is a assignment feedback for question 1 and 2 for assignment 1. Question C was not a problem for most of you. You were able to calculate the triangular arbitrage. So I'll move on to question 1D. Most of you did not understand the requirements of the question. Question D1 wanted you to be able to tell us how you would hedge the payment that you were supposed to make after 6 months of receiving the shipment of the $50,000. These $50,000, when you made the transaction, were costing you 10 Hong Kong dollars, that is per each dough, which would give you 50,000 Hong Kong dollars. Sorry, 500,000 Hong Kong dollars. And this was the money that you're supposed to pay in 6 months. But remember, you stay in Belgium. In other words, you were supposed to convert this amount of 500,000 into Belgian francs. But remember, you need to take account of exchange rate fluctuations. In such a case, you were supposed to calculate the forward exchange rate for the Hong Kong $500,000 that you expected to pay in 6 months on receiving the shipment. With regards to question 2, D2, we are given that 3 months after hedging the purchase, after going into the purchase contract or the forward contract, in order to prevent you paying more, the doors that you ordered were gutted in a fire in Hong Kong, but you still have an outstanding forward purchase contract of 500,000 Hong Kong dollars. If the spot rate at that in those 3 months, at the 3 months point, is now 6.1, and the simple per annum interest rates for the 3-month investment are 8% and 13% in Belgium and Hong Kong respectively, what is the value of your forward contract? Have you made a gain or a loss? So in other words, you were supposed to calculate the value of your forward purchase contract that you entered in D1 at the 3-month point. So in other words, first you had to calculate the rate, which would give you 6.02615. You were supposed to go on now to calculate the value of the outstanding contract. In other words, you were supposed to separate from the original rate that you got in D1, which would give you an exchange rate of 0.366251 per 1 Hong Kong dollars. Since you had purchased 500,000 Hong Kong dollars at the original rate, forward exchange rate of 6 months, that means you can now sell these at 6.02615. So in other words, you have made money because of the difference between 6.0262 and 5.8868. So this means a total time gain, or a 3-month gain, of 68,312.58.